this blog a little bit differently than the first one. Instead of staring at me, I'll give you some pictures and slides instead, and information listed upon those slides. From here on, I'm going to assume that everything will be the same in the future semesters at IES Abroad Tokyo as it was for the spring 2015 semester that I was on. For this blog, we'll talk about your first week in Tokyo. The first week will go by very quickly. You'll start into orientation the very next day after you get to Tokyo, so there's really not a lot of rest to be had. However, this is a good thing. If you were to rest too much, sleep too early, get up too late, it's going to hinder your recovery from jet lag and the new time zone. So it's good that you start right away, and I would be happy about it and take advantage of it if I were you. So day number 1 is when you arrive in Tokyo. As long as you're set up with the EPAL program, your EPAL will likely be at the airport there waiting for you to pick you up, along with a lot of other EPALs. Even if you're not in the EPAL program, there will still be EPALs there to watch for you. They will generally wait for a large group of people to get to the airport before you leave it. Take advantage of this time while you're waiting around. At this point, if you need to exchange some of your money for yen, you can do so. Also close to you that you will need to take advantage of, and you'll be required to by the IES staff, is luggage delivery. You'll take your luggage over to the luggage delivery company. They'll make it easy on you because the IES staff will have paperwork and tags that are already majorly filled out for you. You'll go with your EPAL or another EPAL up to the counter, and they'll help you with figuring out what to fill in and how much to pay. From there, you should only have your carry-on. I didn't address this in the first video, but IES does go over it with you in the packets, and that is that you will have a carry-on with about a week's worth of supplies, clothing, etc. for orientation. You will not be in your homestay or your dorm or have any access to them until after orientation is completed. So you need everything in your carry-on that you might need on a daily basis. After you've exchanged your currency, got your luggage set up to be delivered, and enough people have joined your group, you will go with the EPALs onto a bus. It is a free bus, and it will take you to your next destination. Where we were at was a hotel called Hotel Franks. I don't know if you'll be staying there or not, but if you are lucky. It is a great hotel, very comfortable, very easygoing staff, and they do speak a little bit of English as well, so it's helpful. There are vending machines as well with food, water, I think some soda, as well as beer. Keep in mind, the drinking age in Japan is 20, so as long as you are 20 years old or older, you can drink beer and other alcohol while you're in Japan. But, of course, be responsible. Remember the fact that you don't really know where you are, so don't go crazy. At the hotel, you are assigned a roommate. One of the IES students will be your roommate with you, of course, same gender. You generally will not know who that roommate will be until you get there. Depending on when you get to Japan, you might drop off your luggage and then go straight to dinner with the EPALs. They'll show you around your hotel area a little bit so that you have an idea of where you can go early morning, afternoon. Near Hotel Franks is Plena. Plena is a large building with several floors. It has a restaurant floor with some very, very good little restaurants. Very quick, very easy. This includes Chinese food, ramen, Burger King, curry. The curry is excellent. I suggest it. That was my first meal in Japan, and I'm quite happy about that. After you have dinner, you can finally go back to your hotel and get settled in and go to sleep, because you will have orientation bright and early in the morning. I believe we had to wake up around 6 o'clock in the morning to get ready, have breakfast, and then go to the lounge where the IES staff met us. From there, the staff walked us back to Plena. Luckily, our EPALs had already taken us there once, so we kind of had an idea of where it was. However, you'll want to try and memorize this path as you're shown, because you will go to the same place every day for the week of orientation. At the top of Plena is a classroom area that IES had rented out, and every day you'll go there and they'll go over several different things with you involving the program, Japan, safety regulations, and a whole lot more. Some things that the orientation will address will be safety in case of heavy earthquakes, typhoons, floods, as well as sexual harassment and other such topics. You'll apply for your classes for real this time. You'll also go over getting a Japanese phone. It is not sufficient to have your cell phone company with an international calling plan. It is a good thing to have if you have the ability and money, simply for your family to be able to get in touch with you easier. However, IES requires that you have a Japanese phone number. This means that your calling plan will not work because it is still an American number. So, they set up with Pixel to come in and talk to us. They gave us rate plan, prices, showed us the phone, and some other general ideas of the service. I did get the Pixel phone. I checked into it very far in advance, as I was not aware at first that they would be helping us with the cell phone. I was happy with Pixel, and so far I have not had any big issues. One thing that I do suggest is to get the data plan. What we were offered with Pixel was two choices. Pay as you go, so you only pay for the things that you use, plus any rental fees and insurance, because you rent the phone, you do not keep it. Or you can get the data plan, which is about $60 or so a month. Now, the other one is called pay as you go, but you do pay, like I said, the rental, insurance fees, etc. So you're looking at about $10 to $20 a month. I did not get the data plan at first, because I did not think that I would need any kind of internet connection while I was out. I'd be busy, it wouldn't be necessary. I ended up regretting that, and luckily Pixel was kind enough to let me email them and request the data plan, which they promptly put on my account for me. The data plan is necessary for one big reason that I learned. You can use your Japanese phone with the data plan, turn on the Wi-Fi hotspot, and then you can use your American phone using Wi-Fi to get onto Google Maps to figure out where you're going, or the most important part for me was train schedules. There are several apps that you can use for the trains to help you figure out what time to leave, what trains to take, what route to take, etc. And that saved my life and many of my friends as well. There were very many times that we got lost somewhere or couldn't figure out what train to take, and all I had to do was take my phone out, turn on pocket Wi-Fi, do a quick search, and we were good to go. Before that, I wasn't able to travel outside the area very much because I had no idea where I was going. Even if I found the right train, once I got to the station, if I'd never been there before, I wouldn't know where to go from there. Having the data plan and using pocket Wi-Fi was the best decision I made in regards to the phones. Take your American phone with you, as long as it can use Wi-Fi, and you'll be able to get on the internet. Also, most people in Japan use an app called Line. It's basically like Skype, but geared more towards texting. You can do video calls on there as well, which is what I use to keep in touch with family back home, especially my daughter. There's also really cute sticker packs, and if you're really into anime and manga, they have a lot of different anime and manga character sticker packs in there as well. Almost everyone in Japan uses this. I used it to keep a hold of my e-pal. And as I met more people, we added each other online. It's really quick and easy to add people on there. Super simple, super easy. I really suggest putting Line on your phone before you even go over. But having the data plan will keep you connected online as well. And the good thing about that is a lot of people, especially the Japanese students, tend to make groups online. And they inform everyone of things that are going on. Hey, we're going to go to this bar, we're having a birthday party for this person, and it keeps you in the loop. You know what everyone's doing, you know what the plans are, which is really useful when you're planning out your homework as well. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. So when they go over the phones, you will be able to pick your plan that day and receive a phone that day as well. So it's very quick, very easy, and you don't have to spend much time without the Japanese phone. Another important thing that they'll go over is national health insurance. You will and have to get signed up with the national health insurance. This also involves you getting set up as a citizen in Japan. This will require you to later on go to the ward office, and yes, you will have to do this on your own or with other IES members. You'll go to the ward office, and you'll have to get all signed up to basically show them, hey, I'm living in Japan for this long, I'm going to be a citizen for this long, and I am legal, and I need to be set up in the health insurance. And luckily for us, where I was at in Chiba, The ward office had two people who spoke very good English, and they basically stayed right at our side the entire time and helped us through the process, so they're very, very helpful. So otherwise it can be a little bit of a daunting task, but go as a group, and that will help, especially if anyone else knows Japanese. You kind of connect your Japanese knowledge and figure out what to do. You'll also go over etiquette for living at the dorms and with hostay families. Some of the information will be given to you as an entire group. At other times, you'll be separated, and they'll go over information with homestay, and they'll go over information with the dorm students. If you are a homestay student, at some point during the orientation that I am not completely aware of because I was not a homestay student, they will introduce you to your chosen families. So they will be with you when you meet them. It won't be too awkward. They'll come to you. So rest assured you don't have to just wander to somebody's house and meet them in their own home and feel completely out of place. They'll come and meet you first. Another lovely thing that they did for us is to go over the trains. They talk about the trains, give you an idea, they give you a lot of maps that are going to be very useful. It's a very good idea to keep them on you, but also take good pictures of the maps in case you didn't bring it with you, lose it, it gets torn. You'll have a copy because they will come in handy. They will also get with the e-pals who will meet you, and you will actually go on the trains with a small group of other IES students and e-pals. What we did was get on the train and went to an assigned area that IES told the e-pals to take us. They showed us how to get a train ticket and what to do with the ticket, what the etiquette was as far as getting on the trains and where to stop, all the little bits of information that you might need to know to start feeling comfortable with riding the trains. When we got to our assigned destination, we got out, we did a brief walk down the street, saw a couple of restaurants that looked pretty good, stopped and had lunch, and then we headed back again. They also went over information on the Suica cards. Suica cards work with nearly every train. There are a few exceptions from what I understand, but at no point in any of my travels in Japan was I not able to use my Suica card. What it will do is it will set you up from your home station, wherever your dorm or your homestay is at, and then limit it to the campus station. For me, that was Kaihi Makuhari Station. Anywhere between those two stations will be free because you are a student. You'll get the information card from IES prior to going on the trains that will allow you to get the Suica as a student to show where you're going to be boarding and getting off at. And that is really useful because if, let's say, you're running out of money but you need to go somewhere that is, we'll say, Nishi Funabashi, which is between my dorm and my school station, it's free for me to go there. I don't have to pay any other money. Now, this still does cost you for the card. I believe it was about $180 for 3 months, I believe, on the card. Then you can also load more money onto it for anywhere else that you might need to go outside of those stations. This is really useful because it means you don't have to go to the terminal and buy a ticket. It's not just buying a ticket either. You have to look at the map, figure out where your station is that you're heading to, how much that's going to cost, and then pick that number of ticket and put your money in. Because depending on how far you're going, you might not be able to buy a ticket with enough money on it to get you to your destination. That means you're going to have to stop at different ticket machines throughout your travel in order to be able to go all the way through. The other annoying thing is there are different train companies, and if you have a ticket that still has 180 yen on it for one company, but you have to switch trains onto the other train company, that ticket is no good, and that means you have to buy a new one anyway. Save yourself the trouble and get that Suica card. You don't have to do an entire 3 months. You can do 1 month, you can do 3 months, 6 months, and then I believe also a year, but that won't be necessary for you unless you're a year-long student. The e-pals helped us to go ahead and get our Suica cards right then and there. Later in orientation, the e-pals will come and meet with you again to tour the Kanda University of International Studies campus. They'll show you all around campus. There are several different buildings, and they will show you each one of them. Then you'll stop for some lunch at one of the cafeterias inside of Kanda. Sometime during orientation, you'll meet with all of the IES students and all of the e-pals for a welcome party. We had ours at a British pub inside of Plena near our classroom. They'll give you lunch, and be prepared because you will have to give a nice little speech about yourself. Unfortunately, you give a few different speeches while you're in orientation. Since the e-pals are all gathered together, they want you to also give an introduction to the e-pals, which also means that if you know some Japanese, it would be nice for you to speak some of it if you can. As I said in my previous blog, most of the IES e-pals They speak at least decent English, but that doesn't mean all of them, and it doesn't mean that everything you say is going to be understood, and so speaking a little Japanese would be appreciated. Plus, it's a good time to start practicing and show what you know. There's a lot more that's gone over during orientation week, and a lot of information that's given to you at that time. All the information is important, and I would suggest to keep all of that information handy in case you might need it. For now, that's all I have to say about your orientation week. So just a reminder, try to get with the new time zone. Sleep at your normal time based off of Japan time. Get up early, and don't be late for your orientation. They take them seriously. It's not a good thing to be late in Japan. Next time, I'll go over the dorm, what it's like, where it's at, some general policies, and I'll give you a lot of pictures and videos at that time as well. See you then!